Well, there was a demonstration in Houston.
Well, what happened was initially a group from that was fighting, in a local group of African Americans primarily, were, opposed to apartheid, and they had started going to the consul there, the South African consul, to protest. And they were arrested on the ground floor, even before they got to the consul, by the security forces of the building. And they were being given very harsh sentences and, having to post bond they didn't have money for and so forth. So a group of them, including Ada Edwards, who later was on the city council, a wonderful African-American woman, came and met with us, you remember that night, and told us what they wanted us to do. And because as African Americans, they couldn't get past the first guards. So we were going.
We got all dressed up.
We got dressed up. I had one Armani suit. Put it on.
In our disguise.
We were disguised. And I just bluffed and lied because I got there. And I told the person that I had met the consul at a party. The truth had been, I'd been at the party with the consul, but I did not want to meet him because of apartheid. So the fact that I'd met him was a lie. But it got us in. And we had a long talk, and Jen has written that up.
I wrote it while I was in there. I was writing down what we were doing, because they left us in the room for 2 or 3 hours by ourselves with nothing to do. So I sat there and wrote about it. But with the connection with the peace tent is that we made our idea of why we were there be that we wanted to invite Winnie Mandela to
the peace tent. That was our.
And we wanted to have them okay it.
And you remember he suggested some person that worked with the government there.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was some. What was that? There was an alternative South African group that the government sometimes worked with, the Zulus or something, I've forgotten what. But he suggested this woman, that she was the one for us to have. And at first he treated us, just as if we had met him at the party. We were part of those that, because there's something about River Oaks and South Africa under apartheid that resonates. That's all I will say on it. But then the noise started downstairs of this protest. And he went, and we dragged that on
we
so
did, and
long.
then he said to us, "You're not really here about this, are you?
You're part of that group."
And then we had a discussion. We had all this discussion about apartheid.
And Martin Luther King, I invoked his name.
And Sissy said, history will prove you wrong. And it did.
But by that time, he'd gone out again and arrested us.
Yeah. And they'd call the police. And we had to wait for hours in there, it seems like. And finally the police came. And
they were twins.
Yeah. And
they never understood why we were there. They were African Americans.
And they walked us through. There was just a long corridor.
Oh, yes.
And all the people in the embassy came there to look at us, and we were being escorted out by these 2 black policemen.